Hey folks, Jeff here at Back to Country. You know, part of our goal in homesteading is to create a more sustainable lifestyle. And to do that, we got to make things last longer. So the other day, my rice cooker died on me. Now granted, it's over 27 years old, but does that mean I should just throw it away? Well, it's less than $20 for a new one, so why not? Well, I guess if I did just throw it away, that's not really very sustainable. And it would just go in the landfill, so how is that good for the environment? Yeah, I don't think it really fits the homestead lifestyle. Anyway, I just have a hard time throwing things away, especially if I haven't tried to fix it. So before I can just toss it in the trash, I gotta at least have a look at it and see if I can figure out what's wrong. Maybe I can fix it cheap. So join me and let's take a look, see what's wrong with it. Alright, so here's the rice cooker. Like I said, it's over 27 years old, but they still make these. Made in China. Less than $20 is like $17 and change to buy a new one at Walmart. But that doesn't mean we should just toss it in the trash. So it's a pretty simple unit. You got this pan to put your rice and water in, a lid with a hole for steam to come out, and then the base unit. And basically the problem is that we were cooking some rice and it just shut off. And you plug it in now and it's like there's no power or anything, it's just dead. So first, giving it kind of a simple inspection. The first thing, this is the heating element, I assume, and I don't see any burns or anything visibly wrong with it. I don't know if this is just a switch to turn it on or something to say when it's done or whatever. I imagine it's some sort of thermal device. But bottom line, everything still looks pretty new. Looking at the outside of the unit, don't see any visible issues. Looking around the power plug, everything looks good. So I guess I need to open it up and go inside. Looks pretty simple. A couple of Phillips head screws down here on the bottom. So step one is remove the screws. See if we can get it to come apart. Oh, that came off easy. So this is nothing more than a plate with the feet on it. And when we get inside, you know, visibly, everything looks just fine. These wires, I don't see any breaks or anything. I don't see any burn marks, no arcing. I can see the heating element down here. There's little ports and they look fine. I don't see any obvious damage looking all the way around it. So I guess that's a good thing. The question is, what's wrong with it? So the next thing I'm going to do is take my meter and just check resistance and see if there's a break in a line, or maybe if the heating element has gone bad and we just can't see it. So let me do that. Alright, so I've got my meter here. I'm going to switch it to ohms, and then I'm going to change the mode to where it's audible. So basically when I make a circuit, it gives me a audible tone. So this is where the power comes in, and so if we touch those two things, we get nothing, which that is good, because if you got a tone there, then I guess it would suggest a short. And we've got continuity from one side to here, and then we do not have continuity between there, but I'm guessing that's maybe the... okay, so when we turn the switch on, we still have continuity, which that means the switch is good, I assume. From there to there we have continuity. Okay, now this, I can see the ends. Not sure if we can see that in the camera, but here and here, this is where the heating element comes up out, and you can actually see that it looks like a, you know, stove element or whatever, that same gray material. So if we check from one side to the other, we do have continuity there, so that says that's not broken at least. Now I'm not sure how many ohms any of this is supposed to be. I'm just mainly right now looking for obvious stuff. So we go from here to here. Oh, okay, we got no continuity from this point to this point. Oh, we got it on that side. We just don't have it through whatever this is. So let's see if we can figure out what that is. Okay, it looks like it says fuse on it. So if that's a fuse, then, well, makes sense that if that fuse blew, we would not have continuity, and also the device wouldn't work anymore. So this could be really simple. Of course, the question is, can we figure this out and get a replacement? So I do see fuse. It's really hard to read the writing on there, and yeah, you can't read it in the camera either. So this might take a magnifying glass to see what the writing actually says on there. So let me get something and take a closer look. Okay, so taking a close look at the fuse, I can see that it definitely is says SE fuse, 10 amp, 250 volts, alternating current. It's got a SF188U number on it. $93.90, 192 degrees Celsius, so that suggests it may be some type of thermal fuse. Okay, so that gets us a little bit closer, and one more time, what I'm going to do here, still set up, and I'm just going to check it one more time off the machine, and sure enough, it shows an open circuit. So there is no continuity from one side to the other. My opinion, regardless of what kind of fuse that is, if it's a fuse, it should have continuity from one side to the other. So I believe this is the problem. Well, let me do a internet search and see what I can find on it. Well, folks, through the miracle of modern technology, I was able to get on the internet, find out that this was indeed a thermal fuse, and I was able to go on to eBay and find a replacement for $1.45. So I've got a replacement. Now I need to put it on and see if I've solved the problem. Alright folks, before I do put it on, well, I want to check one thing. So we've got our meter set up again, and let's just make sure that this does what we think it should do. And there we have it. So the new one, we definitely have continuity through it. Here's the old one again, and it's dead. So let's see if we can install this thing. I think I can just kind of twist this around and screw it on without even worrying about putting those end rings or whatever you want to call it on them. I've got some, but they're up at the property, so I'm at the house right now, and that's kind of one of the problems with kind of living in two places. I've moved a bunch of my stuff already, and so a lot of times I may need a tool or something like that, and it's already at the property because that's where I'm doing most of my work. So I'm just trying to wrap this around the screw. Okay, so I just made a loop. See if that's going to be long enough. It should be. And I did take a picture of it before, so I know that this little smaller end pointed towards the power AC inlet, whatever you want to call it, where the power comes in. So it shouldn't matter which direction you put it in theory, because it's not like a diode or anything, but we'll still put it the same way. Okay, that seems to go on tight. So now we'll do this other side. Of course, I got it kind of backwards there, so flip that around so it, when the screw goes tighter, it works with us and not against us. Alright, so we've got it tightened down there. We'll check continuity again. Alright. And that is definitely doing what it should do. So if we put it all the way here, then we there it goes. Force the switch down, we get continuity. So we'll put this tray back together. Alright, I noticed that I had a couple extra washers that went on those screws, so I put those back on there. And now we're gonna figure out how this bottom tray goes back on. We've got two screw holes there and there, so it looks like that just slides into place. Pretty simple setup. Okay, so we got it put back together. Let me put a little water in the bowl, because I'm not going to cook any rice right now, but you definitely don't want to run it empty. Set the bowl in there and put the power cord on. Plug it in. I don't hear any funny noises or anything, so far so good. And let's see if it comes on. Hey, the light came on. So in theory, it is now working. So now we just need to see if it heats up and boils that water. So let's give it a few minutes and see what happens. You know, folks, when I was a kid, I can remember my grandparents telling me stories about when they grew up during the Great Depression. And I'd like to think that some of those lessons rubbed off and have taught me not to be wasteful. Even though today's way we live in society encourages us to be wasteful. It encourages us to buy things, use them, and when they break, just throw them away. That can be displayed every year. For example, they do a bulk trash pickup once or twice a year in our neighborhood, and if you drive around and just look at what people are throwing away, it's amazing. I saw one time a guy was driving around with a pickup truck full of lawnmowers that he just drove around and picked up and throwing them in the back of his truck. And you know what he was going to do? He was going to take them back to his house or shop or whatever, pull the carburetors off, clean the carburetor, and they'd be good as new. Because that's generally what's wrong with lawnmowers these days. When they sit over the winter and don't get used, the fuel goes bad in them and gums up the carburetor and they don't run. And well, if people don't know how to fix stuff, I guess they just throw them away. But we don't do that. We try to fix our things, try to reuse stuff, try not to be wasteful. So for $1.45, we fixed a 27-year-old $17 rice cooker. I don't know. Seems good to me. But you decide. Are we frugal? Are we cheap? Or maybe we just like the challenge of fixing things. Regardless, we're going to keep doing it. And we'll keep sharing it with you. So if you haven't done so already, don't forget to like and subscribe and see what we'll be up to next. Until the next one, take care. God bless. We'll see you on the next one. Oh yeah, she's working just fine.